What happened? Someone set up us the bomb. We get signal. What? Main screen turn on. It's you.
How are you, gentlemen? All your days are belong to us. You are on the way to destruction.
What you say?
You have no chance to survive, mate, your time. Ha ha ha. All your days, all your days don't belong to us. All your days, all your days don't belong to us. All your days, all your days don't belong to us. All your days, all your days don't belong to us. All your days, all your days don't belong to us. All your days, all your days, all your days don't belong to us. All your days, all your days don't belong to us. For base justice, face off every day. Blue dick, blue dick, blue dick, blue dick. You know what you're doing. Face off every day. Blue dick, blue dick, blue dick, blue dick. You know what you're doing. Face off every day. Blue dick, blue dick, blue dick, blue dick. For base justice, face off every day. Blue dick, blue dick, blue dick, blue dick. You know what you're doing. Face off every day. All your days, all your days don't belong to us. All your days, all your days don't belong to us. All your days, all your days don't belong to us. All your days, you have no chance to survive, mate, your time.
GM. How you doing, Senians? I hope you're having an amazing summer wherever you are, and that you're feeling well. Can you hear me all right? Let me know. All right, game time. Shane Kui, Jack Shimash, and LFG. Good to see so many people in the chats. Good to see you guys. I love you all. Let's get straight in. Let's get based. We are deploying. We are continuing the horizontal expansion of the Sun ecosystem, and we are deploying on base this time. Now, please stop using drugs. It's not good for you. Exactly. So let's get based faces. Exactly. LFG. Good to see so many celebrities as always. Now, Tree City West is in the house. Good to see you guys. Good to see you guys. Now let's get straight to the meat of the conversation, because let's get something straight, because some of you have expressed dislike over this deployment. Base is shit because it's from Coinbase, and Coinbase is shit, etc., etc. I agree with all of you, but none of that matters, and I'm going to tell you why. Because you have to understand our strategy, and our strategy has always been to get Zen everywhere. And we don't have a framework for where to go based on first principles. It doesn't exist, because if we had such a framework and we followed it strictly, we wouldn't even have deployed Zen on any chain, because they all suck, more or less. You know, then the question would become which chain would suck less, and we have to pick and choose, you know, deployment of Zen based on some criteria, and then you basically would have to create such a framework, but it wouldn't be possible, at least not to find overall consensus with it. It's insanely hot in here, by the way. The AC is not working. I'm sweating like a pig. But I'm gonna try to we have exciting stuff to go through, so I'm gonna try to survive. But anyway, it's hard to create such a framework, and it wouldn't even be possible because there's no real first principle currency existing before Zen, in our opinion, which have the scalability in terms of solving adoption, which is what we want, and that's why we created Zen. No L1 exists now as well for that same reason, and therefore we want to create X1. So L1s and protocols have been competing with features and benefits to pull users to their chain and protocol, and we could have stayed on Ethereum and used this pull strategy with communication with first principle arguments on its own, but it wouldn't be effective. We think we need to build it into systems and interact interoperably with systems with incentives. There's no precedent as where that was ever effective to communicate we are faster, better, stronger than other chain, therefore come to us. It's not working. And added to that, we have zero marketing budget. So our strategy is very different. And we always said Zen needs to be everywhere. And as long as your chain is not some shady basement-driven thing, we will strive to get Zen there eventually. So the strategy that we have is a push strategy. We push out first principles, and then we can comparatively measure the same 400 lines of code, everything else equal on all chains, and see how they react. Some will do well, and some will censor us, as Dodge Chain did, for example. So instead of picking and choosing chains based on some framework, we need Zen and first principles protocol to be on every chain, infiltrate every chain with first principles. And ultimately, in a way, time is on prepositions on our side, since everything that has failed in crypto can be derived back to either being overly centralized, you gave up custody of your funds, or it wasn't transparent enough. So that's how we look at it, and that's why we want to go to base. And that strategy has been working incredibly well so far, you have to admit it, because every chain we have deployed on know who we are with no marketing budget. So that's why base, we don't necessarily agree with every design decision they have made, perhaps on their chain. The influences that can be less optimal, so to speak, that are in effect with with that chain or any other chain for that matter as well. We don't directly care either. Indirectly, we do care, of course, and a lot. But the fact of the matter is that Base is getting a lot of attention, and we either become irrelevant in that world, or we go there and make we either become go there and make our stand with our immutable code and our activity, and else we become irrelevant. If we go there, we can also give the users who are on that platform an option to metaphorically bridge over and come and explore the whole Zen ecosystem, which is growing. It's just not stopping. It's just growing and growing and growing. In less than 1 year, we've done awesome stuff, undeniably. So as soon as they potentially fuck up something on their chain, which can happen sooner or later or never, you have this metaphorical bridge over to another ecosystem where things are less likely to fail, because things are more decentralized, transparent, and you have custody of your funds. And this is something we're repeating all the time. So that's our strength, we think. And that can't happen if we isolate ourselves as an ecosystem from those systems, no matter what we think of them. So, okay, great, let's do that. But then the question is, why Base and why now? What about optimism? What about arbitrum? The timing, because Base is super hot right now. Everyone's talking about it, and it's early. So now is the time to go there, not in 2 months or a year. And we have an opportunity to get in now and create a presence. We have the potential to become #1 in terms of transactions, and that will get us a lot of eyes. So it's as simple as that. It's mostly it's a lot with timing when it comes to the decisions behind where we go and when, because also insights. There might be tech we want to try out, etc., etc. But those are the things that influence us, and we want to see how Zen operates in different universes and environment. We will go to optimism and arbitrum as well, hopefully very soon. And this is the whole L2 environment, which is very interesting to see, because this would be the first time that Zen gets deployed on an L2. So we have a lot of things going on, but we cannot stop the horizontal scaling. We need to do it as well, parallel to everything else we're doing. Zen needs to be everywhere. So again, important to realize we can't stop the horizontal scaling, and crypto adoption is insanely slow. So we have to do things differently. Focus on one thing and concentrated liquidity is very sweet, but it won't make us win for the purpose of our mission. So guys, let's get Zen everywhere, and let's continue building these amazing things that are utilizing Zen. And things are, it's starting to pop up, like really interesting, well thought out protocols in the Zen ecosystem. So let's build more, let's do everything, let's talk less, and LFG. So yeah, let's go. Let's go into Miro. Guys, I'm burning up here. Here we go. Zen and XENFTs to Base. So what is Base? Well, Base is an L2 on top of Ethereum, and it's a so-called optimistic rollup chain built with the optimism stack, the OP stack. So Base doesn't have its own native currency, and they've said that they're not planning to, they're not intending to introduce one as well. And this is something which can obviously change over time. But this is what they clearly announced, that they're not planning to introduce its own native currency. They're going to use ETH. So you're using ETH and you're bridging it over to Ethereum using their bridge. or Zenify. I will show you how. And I will show you how to do this, and I will also talk a bit about scaling if we have time, and the background behind L2 scaling solutions. But let's start with the usual suspects, some numbers. So we're deploying the Zen torrent and the Zen stake and Zen, of course, all at the same time. So that's going to be very interesting with deployment, because we have in order to get to unicorns, you have to min Zen, and it's a low-cost chain. So it's a lot of game theory going into this. Those of you who have been here for a long time, go into Trevon or CryptoBra or Profeta's streams and see their strategies. They probably have a lot of degen moves, how to get the unicorns, a lot of tactics, but you sort of have to potentially do some short-term mints enough so you can get 10 billion Zen in order to get a unicorn. But let's look at the tickers. So we have CB is the short ticker, CB Zen, CB Cent, and CB Cents. So let's zoom into the overall view with the contracts and tickers. So we have CB Zen and CB Cent down here. There's a small delay in my screen is lagging a bit. So let me know if there's any issues with that. But I think you guys can see. And just to mention, when it comes to the Zen burn protocol, we've said coming soon for a very long time. The reason everything is ready, we can just deploy it. The reason we haven't yet is because we want to pan out everything when it comes to the burn records with X1 before we deploy them, and then we're probably going to deploy them all at once. But this is not some like super. You just burn Zen to get a burn record. It's more a tool that can be utilized for builders. So it's not like you might as well burn for something else than create a Zen burn. But it's a tool that we feel should be there. And if you're totally new to this ecosystem, you should okay, Jack tweeted interesting tweet just now. You should watch my videos when it comes to first Zen, first and foremost, but also XENFT and staking XENFTs, so you understand how it all works. With XENFTs, you batch mint. It's absolutely incredible. Almost 4 million XENFTs have been minted on all chains, which is kind of insane. So here's the rarity charts. They are basically copied. They are copied straight from Ethereum, because Optimism has a block limit of 30 million, exactly the same as Ethereum. So VMUs are exactly the same. For Apex, it's 100 to 128. So 128 is the max. And as always, this is how we limit in our UI. You can interact straight with the protocol as well, and potentially get more, like 129. Or we haven't actually tried that. We only tried the max here, yeah, and exactly the same. So we have the Apex, the limited, and the collector, and we have CB cents for the rarity. So these rarity scores is something we haven't utilized yet, but we have allocated 100 million XM for X1. So these will count when it comes to that. So as you know, when it comes to rarity scores, the probability of them occurring is a lot higher in the beginning. So there's a like very beautiful natural incentive to mint them early. Yes, and now let's show some other stuff. There we go. So you go here, you can't see it now, but docs.base.org, that's where I would begin, just to launch. Yeah, exactly, like CryptoBra says. We have countdowners up now. The launch for Base will be tomorrow at 11 a.m. PST. So I just learned, I always forget this. You can say PT, Pacific time, that is like universal all year round. I never learned this. PST is winter time, PDT is summertime. It's typical American logic. It's like, it makes zero sense. 2 p.m. East, and that would be sometime around, I don't know, check Google when it is in Europe. I'll have to know because I'm in Europe. And I can say that right now, we're going to do a stream. We're going to be in Telegram, as we always do for the launch. So we're going to start like an hour before in the main chat. And you can ask a lot of questions there as well. But go here to, did I post it? Yes, docs.base.org and read everything about the chain. And I will show you now also, this is how you bridge. So in this documentation here, you have bridges. So this is how you bridge over Ethereum, ETH on Ethereum to Ethereum on Base. Sorry, here we go. Can you see it? Let me make it a bit bigger. There we go. And it works very well. It's very easy. But what you also can do is go to Zenify, of course, which is an awesome, awesome project made by Xenians. I think they did this very well. I think it's very cool. So what is Zenify? It's a cross-chain aggregator of aggregator. So you can go from, let's do it right now. I can demonstrate. So you can go from ETH on Ethereum to Ethereum on Base, which I have now. So if I go here, I can just choose whichever chain that I want to. So now I want to go from ETH on Ethereum to ETH on Base. So let's do that just to demonstrate. So I can take 0.1 ETH and then I select an aggregator. So what they do is they find the best, cheapest, and fastest routes for you to transfer your funds. So let's go with a squid and confirm. And then I go into my app and okay, now it wasn't really connected for some reason. Always when you demonstrate, guys, always when you demonstrate. Here we go. Let's see if it works now. Okay, I don't know why it doesn't work. It worked a second ago, but it's working every time. If you also swap, then they have in their token distribution model, they're sending out 25,000 XENF tokens every day, and all you have to do is swap in between chains to get it. So now they are building on, they're focusing on Binance. And they're going to do that for a 2-month period. And then they're going to move on to the next one, which is going to be Ethereum, I think. So you're getting their token distribution on Binance right now. But very cool, guys. I'm very proud of Zenify. It's an awesome, awesome protocol. Super well done. Bridges, yes. What you also can do is bridge over testnet. So we have in Telegram, you can see our testnet links, testnet.zen.network, where you can try to mint Zen on Base. We're going to do it in a little bit. But I have some faucets there to some links, which is very good. And you can also, good to know is that you can bridge over Girly ETH on Ethereum to Girly on Base, because these faucets are a bit cheap. So that's very good. Exactly, this is where you do it with their testnet bridge also, bridge Girly to Base Girly. So that's very good. So guys, let's move right in and connect to Base from the dashboard on testnet.zen.network. I'm posting the link here right now, so you can do this with me. And yeah, mint Zen. We choose turn days. I choose just one, so you can get some liquid going. And as simple as that. That's how you mint some Zen. And yeah, I haven't actually calculated what's the best strategy here when it comes to timing to get to the unicorns. That's something that would be very interesting to discuss. It's kind of a good way to start learning the network as well, because you have to degen into the various production costs and learn about the features of the network as you're doing so. So that's how you do that, and then we can mint XENFT as well as usual. So let's just go and mint a collector, and what is it now? 2024? No, we don't want to wait that long. Let's do a few days. There we go. So minting is NFT on Base. Easy as that. That's all you have to do. LFG. Good to see you're excited, guys. LFG. Como andas, crypto dude? LFG Seniors. Awesome, awesome. Opportunity, exactly. Todo bien. Todo. Como manzanas, something. I studied some Spanish. I'm completely useless when it comes to languages. All right. We have basescan.org, which is the explorer. So they basically use the infrastructure from the Ethereum scan. So it's very explorer that's very familiar to you. So always what I do is just go in and see what kind of data we have. So let's do it. We have daily transactions. This is the x-axis is not really aligning with the dates I see now. This says March, but this is actually July. So we can see that just last month it really started to pick up. So this is like something is going on here when it comes to transactions, and unique addresses is very interesting to look at as well. So here we can see that just in the past month, what is it now? It's 24th. So in a bit of a month, it's just exploded basically. And I think this is I know this is because of Friendtech, this app where you can you basically, so what they did was very smart in the sense that they leveraged Twitter. So they leveraged the Twitter network to create a app where you can you basically become commoditized. So you become your own meme, and people can buy and sell your token. And like, so what's interesting with that is that it's first of all, it's very smart that they leveraged Twitter in that sense. Like leveraging existing networks goes very well with interoperability, which is a necessity in order to create networks that are going to scale and survive. So that was very smart. Another thing that's interesting with that, I think, is the fact that we've been talking about the tokenization of everything. So now you are also, as a user, becoming tokenized. I mean, we can feel and we can think whatever we want about it. It's scary in many ways, and it's kind of sick. Like I tried it because we should try everything, and it's a strange feeling when you see someone buying you. So then they own a share of you. So you're like, you don't own me. You can't own me. But then they sell you, and then you're like, wait, why did you sell me? So it's this whole. It's interesting. We're going to talk about it more when it comes to tokenizer, because we're creating a solution where we make it very easy for everyone to create their own token with a few clicks. Sort of similar how you can do with BRC20s today. You don't have to be a developer, but you can instantly create your own community with no developer knowledge at all, which is, it's sort of like parallel to that is, I think, WordPress. There's like 1-2 billion websites, depending on how you count. Some are active, some are inactive, but most of them, or a large part of them at least, are made with WordPress, which is the main like CMS creator for websites, which tells a story. Like you can create these solutions that are simplifying things a lot, depending on, like, if you want to create a protocol like Zenify, you obviously can't, you're not going to be able to do that with Tokenizer. But there's a lot of use cases, like when it comes to websites, 95% of all websites, the use case for them are just to have a page where you display something. So I think that's a whole universe right there when it comes to simplifying the whole thing with creating value and distributing it. And what you're basically doing is creating a network for whatever purpose you have in just a few steps. Verified contracts is also interesting to look at, how much is being deployed on the chain. And CryptoSlow, my main man, how you doing, bro? Just sent me this, which is also amazing. So I haven't had a chance to look into it. Let me make it bigger. So let's do it live. Let's do it live. Check some statistics. So what do we have? Average block time 2 seconds in relation to Ethereum's 12 seconds. Completed transactions 15 million, which is interesting. Maybe we can do something about that. Number of deployed contracts 3,000. Number of verified contracts today 5. Total accounts 864,000. Total blocks 3 million. Total contracts 240,000. Total native coin transfers 1.3 million. Total tokens on the network is already 45,000. 17 million transaction verified contracts. So growth is up. Active accounts, new accounts, contracts growth. Gas, this is very interesting. So what do we have here? We have average gas price. We can see that the GUI is around. I haven't found a gas tracker. So if you found that, DM me or send it to me and we'll spread it around. I haven't actually looked for it. So it would be very good to see how it is like live. What is the GUI? Gas used, of course, is growing. The transactions. So this is good for reference, guys. Screenshot this and let's compare it 1 week, 1 month after we push it. We push it to the limit. We're gonna hit that shit. So what else? You also have a yeah, I'll share this. This is base.blockscout.com. I'm posting it in the chat right now. And then we also have the testnet, posting it as well, girly.basecamp.org for testnet. What I want to see, yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about L1, L2 transactions as well in a bit. Yeah. Oh, wait, let's go actually back here. I want to see this. Tokens. Can we filter holders? Bridge to base. Okay. They don't have data on the on-chain market cap. Bridge to base 174. Okay, interesting. Pussy. What's this? It's Pussy with 2 S. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. All right. Yeah, girly.basecamp.org for the testnet explorer. NFTs are going to be an open scene. This is very interesting. Base, of course, special treatment dudes gets super early into being on OpenSea, which, by the way, it sucks. They removed creator fee and then implemented their own fee. This is what happens. Once they get big, they can do whatever they want, and they use that situation. But we are probably gonna deploy XENFTs from base on OpenSea anyway. And we have Uniswap, where you also can swap base tokens. You just choose here. Ethereum, Arbitrum, Optimism, so it's good to know you can do it there as well, and the base. Yeah. Okay. That's that. But now I also want to talk about some other stuff. Jesus, it's hot. How you doing, guys? Are you excited? I'm super excited. We have so much going on. Let's talk a little bit about the scaling, L2 solutions and stuff, just to get some perspective. I think it's good. Here we go. How many base users will say base is under attack tomorrow? Yeah, let's watch out for the headlines. Crypto Bra, good to see you, buddy. Rolando, good to see you. Aydin Drachis, Staradish, Kakuzi. You're hot, Tenzo. Yeah, I'm boiling up. What do you mean I'm hot? Type your number. Made of Stardust. Good to see you guys. Good to see you. Yeah. There we go. So what is the problem? The problem is network congestion, and so that's the result. The problem is the infrastructure. The result becomes a problem in terms of congestion. So basically, to simplify things, if you have something limited and everybody wants to use it, something has to give. So this model explains just very well, simplified, how things work. Congestion is low, fees decrease, more transactions occur, CNIDs means more, it's cheap. Blocks become more full, congestion goes up. Congestion is high, the fees increase. There's fewer transactions and the blocks are less full and congestion goes down. So it basically just goes on like this, on and on and on. If we look at Gwei, so this is, I made this presentation a few months ago, but this is still relevant for what I want to say. There we go. So if we look at the Gwei chart, which can be seen as a ratio for analyzing the congestion, we can see how congestion and therefore the price you have to pay to transact varies a lot, right? And we can see that here in a bull market. We zoom in here in the last bull market. Gwei increases, of course, and this is the last bull market we have. So we can also see that it's picking up with more usage and network activity. So this is something that we can expect going into another bull market. So let's look now at congestion and scalability from a XEN perspective. So XEN has, in a bear market, basically done something that's very interesting. We've shown the strength in network effect, which hasn't gone unnoticed from any chain that we've deployed on. So if we look, and these are a few months old, I don't know where the current standing is right now, but this has been pretty consistent throughout since deployment, that we're very high up, and this is Etherscan. We see the same thing happening here on Binance. The only token that is more transactions is the Binance stablecoin. On Polygon, #1, and Avalanche, #1, and Phantom Scan, #1 by lot, and Moonbeam, etc., etc. So it's the same story, and we can also see, if we take just Moonbeam as an example, we're giving a lot of usage to the network and the activity, and with Phantom as well. So look at it's going to be very interesting to analyze the charts now going to base, since they're so new, and we bring in a lot of activity. So it would be cool to have like a live screen of Brian's face when he sees the transactions shooting up. This is Snowtrace as well. So what is this? This is basically the takeover of first principles. People are interacting straight from the protocol, and peer-to-peer with something fed. And then, of course, people initially maybe complain that we take up a lot of space. But an interesting question is, like, what do you want to do in crypto instead? You can mint it straight from the protocol. There's no counterparty. Everything's transparent. There's no admin keys. You get 70% APY if you stay Zen. It's maybe the most decentralized protocol ever, because it's getting more and more decentralized with time. It's in the formula. So tell me what you want to do in crypto that's more important than to interact with a protocol like that. Because everything else you do in crypto has trade-offs, like everything. And what is it else that you want to do? And if that something is very good, then build it with Zen instead. We don't have to invent everything else. We can copy everything that's been successful on other chains and deploy it on Zen instead, and make our universe more valuable. Because and the benefit, of course, is you have users on all chains ready from day one, and no need for VCs or centralized exchanges. So this is basically what this is. If you're going to interpret it, it's a message to the. Now I lost my screen. What happened? Oh, there we go. Nice. So yeah, this is a message to all the crypto community. Basically, it's saying, like, this is crypto, what it's supposed to be. It's no compromises, no trade-offs. It's no compromise crypto. First principles of crypto, and on top of that, we have Zenify. And sometimes people make the comments that Zen is the problem because we're congestion. But the question is if it's Zen that's the problem or if it's the infrastructure. And what's the message? If it's the protocol's fault for congestion, it's because it's permissionless, right? So if it can be done, it will be done. And we're just playing with the current rules of the system. Because the thing is, as long as you pay for a transaction, what you pay for a transaction is less than what you will get. In our case, the token, people will do it. It's simple math for a 7-year-old. It's just plus minus. So it's transaction demand. And if your chain can't handle a protocol permissionlessly deployed with 400 lines of code, then it's not going to scale to billions of people and transactions per day. So that's why Zen is interesting as an experiment as well, because it's so closely associated with gas. Why is it so? Because the only way to get Zen is to mint it straight from the protocol, because it's free plus gas plus time. So you can also buy it, but if you're buying it from someone else in the community that has minted it. there's nothing pre-mined and there's no pre-allocations. So when the underlying infrastructure makes adjustments to their systems, it often will affect gas and whatever, whether that be gas limits, solutions for congestions, etc., etc. So this will, of course, affect everything else that's built on top, especially XENs, and it's so closely related to gas and only gas in that sense. So we know that a bull market is coming. So we know that the GUI is going to increase at some time if the scaling solutions are not there and ready. So let me show you another thing that's also interesting. Transaction street, which I think just beautifully illustrates the congestion right now. So here we have Ethereum and Bitcoin. I think we can go through Arbitrum as well, which would be interesting, just to see how okay, I shouldn't have done that. Takes forever. Okay, anyway, but you can see here, this is Ethereum and this is Bitcoin. So yeah, it's you know, crypto adoption is at 3.5%, 5%, something like that. And these are all the people who want to interact with the protocol, with the chain, using protocols. So here, everyone's grandma is, you know, wanting to pay for their anal examination. Oh, Cornelio, it's too busy for my banco. But anyway, it just paints a picture of how big of a problem this is. So there we go. So what it comes down to is basically scalability. So you know from this blockchain trilemma, it's very easy to get 2 out of 3, but L1s are still competing to be the ultimate behind this relationship of the triangle. So Ethereum does have a lead in becoming sort of the ultimate underlying system, but it's still very early and they do have a lot of challenges. So some even describe it as trying to modify airplane engine while operating or while flying in the air. So this is one of the reasons why we have a multi-chain strategy, and we are carefully choosing the infrastructure that we're going with for X1. So the main goal of all Ethereum scaling solutions then is to increase transaction speed and throughput without compromising the decentralized nature of the chain. So there's 2 main directions that you can take when it comes to scaling, and it's on-chain solutions and off-chain solutions. So on-chain in this aspect is Ethereum trying to fix itself in the Ethereum case. Off-chain solutions is things like layer 2 scaling, or they are also on-chain in their world, but from an Ethereum perspective, they are an off-chain solution to the scaling problem of Ethereum. So when it comes to an on-chain scaling solution, Ethereum, I'm just going through the very basics here so you understand the core components of this problem. It's sharding, right? So sharding is a method for distributing a single data set across multiple databases which then can be stored on multiple machines. And this allows for larger data sets to split into smaller chunks and stored in multiple data nodes, increasing the total storage capacity of the system. So basically, you're breaking up the load into various smaller pieces, you can say. So sharding is a key component of Ethereum 2.0, and it's intended to improve the Ethereum network scalability. Currently, every transaction must be processed by all nodes in the Ethereum network, which can cause congestion and slow transaction time. So that's also why we are interested in looking at DAG solutions, directed acyclic graph, because then the transactions don't have to happen sequentially. They can happen in parallel. But this is what we're looking at when it comes to this is what Ethereum is trying to solve when it comes to, and we call it the so-called on-chain scaling solution. And then we, of course, have the one road, which is off-chain scaling. And this is something we are very familiar with, of course. So EVM sidechains. So definition of sidechains is EVM-compatible blockchains connected to Ethereum via bridges. So they have their own consensus protocol and block parameters. And this is something we are, of course, very familiar with because we've been going to many of them. So and something we have used to be able to scale Zen very fast. And everyone has a different congestion environment, as we know very well. But a parallel route to all of this is L2 scaling. So it's another off-chain scaling method. And then we can talk about rollups. So rollups execute the transaction off the chain, mainly on a rollup specific chain, and then batch the transaction data, compress it, and sends it to the main Ethereum chain. So basically, you can have this image in your mind, like something goes on in an L2 chain, and then gets rolled up to Ethereum in this case. So it inherits the security of mainnet, while it solves the congestion for the chain that you're operating in, but it also offloads transactions from Ethereum at the same time. So what we talk about then is there's basically two different kinds of rollups. So we have optimistic rollups and CK rollups. Optimistic rollups assume that all new chain additions are genuine unless disputed within a week by a network user. And the CK rollups, zero knowledge proof, use cryptographic proofs to validate each new block added to the network, removing the requirement for validators to be trusted. And while CK rollup technology has the potential to be finance layer 2 technology in the future, it's more complicated. It's way more complicated than optimistic rollups, and it requires additional research and development. But this is something to keep their eyes on. And that's why it's very interesting for us to go into this environment, because we want to see how something like Zen, it should be of value to everyone, can operate in these environments where they get like really tested hard, so to speak. So two main ones let's go to let me just get some water. It's like 400 degrees in here. So let's go to L2B. So Arbitrum and Optimism is Arbitrum is the most used L2 scaling solutions for Ethereum. We can see here. Let me just make it a bit bigger. So Arbitrum has over 5 billion in TVL and over 50% of the market, and Optimism has 2.6 billion. So what Base is doing is building their chain based on Optimism. It would be very interesting to find out why they chose Optimism over Arbitrum, for instance. That's something I would be interested in knowing. But here we also have CK Sync, which is CK rollup, which is very interesting. So we can see that the value. So this is 1 year of these solutions are increasing, also in the bear market. So it's something that we cannot ignore. That's very interesting to look at, of course. What else? Yeah, here we can also see so on testnet we had 25, because on Base testnet the gas limit that they have on their Base girl is 25 million, but on mainnet the hard limit is 30 million. And these things can change, but we want to go full on force with the gas limit. So what's probably going to happen if they, for whatever reason, we have speculated a little bit about it. We think in one way, so they have 30 million because Ethereum has it. So in one way, if they get a lot of traffic, they might not lower it, but they could also lower it. What would happen then is that they're still bound by EIP 1559, so where you have dynamic gas fees. So if what you're trying to push through is higher than whatever they're limiting to, then dynamic gas fees will apply. So that's something to also be considered of. I want to see how you doing, guys. You have any questions? How centralized are they? If you're talking about Base, so when it comes to decentralization, yeah, they're amazing. I wish it's on, but it's not working. And I can't figure out if the temperature it's giving out is above or below room temperature. There's no graphs. So it's on right now. And at least it's circulating there. It's super hot. Very centralized, but great market opportunity. When we're talking about decentralization, okay, so we don't have a token, so we can't. There's no token involved to discuss when it comes to decentralization, but it's yeah, I would have saw that, but the level of control that they have over the network is probably a lot. And this is again relating to what I talked about earlier. If we deploy Zen there and we see that our interactions on that chain differs in any way based on the other chains, then that's an exposure. So that's not easily proven unless we are there on that chain. So it's important. It's interesting. Like when you are interacting as a user in the Xenian ecosystem, there is a point. It's very cool to see that a lot of Xenians used to be only on one chain, but now they are exploring many other different chains. And this is something very closely related to what we want ultimately. It's Zen. It's basically a project of freedom at the end of the day. Like that's basically what you can break it down to, like the principles, because you want it to be decentralized, you want it to be transparent, you want to be able to interact with your own money to whoever you want, wherever you want, in a safe way, while remaining totally in control of your funds. I mean, it's as simple as that, really. The rest is just implementation of that. But the way systems are built are complicating it more than it should be, and that's why there is a market for XEN and what we're doing, because we're doing it just in relation to how it's supposed to be, to have that sort of freedom. So it's syndication. So being on a centralized chain, what does it mean for the user? It's a good question. It means that there's more risk, because you don't like if the network is like XEN, it's like us. We started mining together with you guys, and we had the most fair launch in all recorded history. So it's very hard for me and Jack to scoop up a lot of the supply. And that's important, because then we cannot influence. Like we've been trying to do everything in our power to minimize the centralized power as any founder can have of the network. But if you are on a centralized chain, so it can be centralized based on token distribution, but also in the tech parameters of the chain, in terms of how many validators there are, and how blocks are being produced, and et cetera, et cetera. So the risk is, if you have too much consolidated power in a very few, then you have a risk of the unknown. You don't know what they will do, and that's going to affect you. So that's not freedom, because you're bound to the forces that controls the network, basically. But for us, as we said, we still want to go there for all the reasons that we have laid out, because we need XEN to be everywhere. We're going to every system that we can find, and when we do so, we give the opportunity for those users an exposure. It's great for marketing, for one, to be on all these different chains, to grow, rather than being just on one chain and then trying to convince everyone else come to our chains because it's better. It's very hard to do that. It's very novel in theory, but especially in crypto, it's like it's very difficult to argue and find consensus in a large group as to why your chain is better. You have to build it in ultimately. One thing that I'm very happy with XEN, because if I'm just backtracking a year ago, I've been very frustrated myself when it comes to all the inefficiency, when it comes to all the debates that goes on, which basically can be derived down to my chain is better than your chain because of this, and then there's endless discussions and the disagreements of which chain is better. I'm very proud that we in the XEN ecosystem have a very diverse attitude towards chains. We're very open to it's just tech. There's no feelings around certain chains. It's very binary. Either it works or it doesn't. Okay, if it doesn't work, then liquidity and usage and activity is going to instantly transfer over to somewhere else in the network where you don't have those limitations. So I'm very proud that we managed to build up this multi-chain acceptance, and we are not debating over this chain is better than that chain, basically at all. So that's a big kudos to this community that we managed to do so. Because, yeah, as I said, I've been enormously frustrated over how much energy that's just spent of all these endless discussions over which chain is better than others with just arguments. It's like, prove it with actions, prove it with data, just show what is best and what doesn't work. And Zen has a very broad spectrum of knowledge when it comes to that. There's huge amounts of intellectual capital within every scene because all the information is shared with community members fantastically. It's just awesome that people are sharing information on how to do stuff and optimize stuff in many different ways. So yeah, guys, let's get some questions. So if I send some ETH to a wallet and start minting NFTs on Base, will Base be able to take my ETH and NFTs? So yeah, you have to bridge. You have to bridge. So let me show you again. That was testnet. Yeah, so you connect to their bridge and then transfer ETH from Ethereum to Ethereum on Base. So now it works pretty well and quick as well. Yeah, so that's how you do it. And once you have ETH on Base, I also downloaded their wallet to try it out. MetaMask is so bad. Their wallet is much better, to be perfectly honest with you. There you can also switch between and see how much you have in ETH on Base and Ethereum. But you can also do it with MetaMask, of course. So that's all you have to do. And when you have ETH on Base, then you can start minting Zen. And then you have to mint Zen in order to have Zen in order to get the unicorns, the Apex. But you can, as long as you have ETH, you can go for the collectors right away when we deploy tomorrow. Is Zen live on Base now? No, it's not. We're going to deploy there tomorrow. Let's see if we got the countdown up. Base. It's the wrong logo. It's Optimism there. There we go. Countdown in 23 hours, guys, and 50 minutes. We are live. We are live, and as always, anything can happen. So we have to be careful. The best way to be is in the Telegram. We started a voice chat and keep an update on what goes on. Sometimes, like 2 out of 11 times, we've been like a bit delayed as well, so that can happen. Yeah. What about launching on virtual? Yes, we want to explore that as well. It's just about priorities. We want to go to Solana and Cardano and all these non-solidity networks as well. You know where I find the gas prices on Bay? Yes, I showed you this that crypto slow. Show me, there we go. Base.blockscout.com. I'm posting it here. That's real ETH for testnet? No, it's girly ETH for testnet, and you can either use a faucet to get girly ETH, girly base ETH, or you can take girly ETH from Ethereum and bridge it over so it becomes girly ETH on base using the docs.base.org. There you can see bridge testnet. So this is the base.blockscout.com, and here we can see the gas prices. I would like to see a bit more like a gas tracker live, what the current GUI is. I still haven't found that. So if anyone finds it, please scream out loud if you can find it. They've done a lot of good infrastructure already, I have to say, and they have very good docs. But they're very new also, so there's a lot of tools that are not happening. How deploying Zen on different chains is adding more value? I think it's the same people are minting on different chains. Very well with me, but the whole purpose of Zen is to solve adoption, and we want to get exposure on as many chains as possible for Zen. So it doesn't really matter where you mint in a sense. It's isolated islands now, but at some point in time, there will be ratios established between Zen on the various different chains, and that's going to be fun. And these ratios are going to be determined by the market. So then liquidity and capital and Zen is going to flow to whichever chain is ultimately better. So it's super interesting as an experiment to see how the market, how the Zenians are going to react to that. But to answer your question in another way, like if the goal was to create something that was scarce, or if the goal was not to try to get something that's going to have a widespread adoption, then it would be probably way better to deploy it with concentrated liquidity on one chain. But that's not the purpose of Zen. The purpose of Zen is to get mainstream adoption for it. Fact, instead of paying to market Zen, we're launching on various chains. Break the chain. Chain owners, users say, what the hell is this project is? Yes, and they get involved. Plus, it's benchmarking too. Exactly. Said it much better than me. Since CBZen and ETHZen use the same gas token, you think it will correlate in price? No, because it doesn't really matter that there's that it's the same native token. I might be wrong in this, but I haven't found a reason why it would matter really, because it just uses the same gas token, but it's in two different environments completely still. So the fact that, oh, we didn't talk about this. We didn't talk about L1, L2 gas fees. So let me do that in a bit. But it shouldn't really matter, because you're still interacting in an environment where the production cost is different. It's way cheaper on Base than on Ethereum. This is something that's very, so it shouldn't like like if you have mined something and it costs you this much on one chain, and someone else mined 1 Zen on Ethereum and paid this much, the price is not going to correlate because nobody would make that trade. It's not logical. So I don't think it matters. L1, L2 gas fees. That's very important. I forgot to mention that. What you're going to see on Etherscan is, or in what's it called, base. Basecamp, that there's something that's called L1, L2 gas fees. So what's this? And as I showed you, with rollups, you have basically a bunch of transactions. So a bunch of Zen transactions are going to go on base. These are going to be aggregated into a block that then gets so-called rolled up onto Ethereum, and it's sort of to think of it like a bunch of stuff are going on base, so you're paying gas fee for that, right? So that's the L2 gas fee, and then this gets propagated up to Ethereum, where you also have to pay to get included in that block, but you're sort of sharing that cost with the other CNs that are getting bundled into this 2-second block. So you have to pay a gas fee for that too, your share of it. So that's the L1 fee. So totally what you have to pay is L1 plus L2 for your transaction. So just so you're not like clueless as for what is L1 and L2 fees. When quitting drugs, never. More drugs. Nothing brings adoption more than green candles. That's also very true. So, but again, like at some, like the AMP doesn't really care what we do. The AMP is just declining every day. So we initially thought that the AMP was going to decline from 3,000 down to 0. Or down to 1 in 16 years, but we changed it to 8 years. But anyway, at some point, or day by day, it gets harder to mint. Like the minting difficulty increases day by day. And we're still in the first year of Ethereum. It's already been a year. Depends how you look at time. And there's only 3 years left until it's going to get 50% harder to mint Zen. And after another 4 years, it goes like this. Then you can't mint anymore. The tap is over. So you have this inflation that goes on with the increase of minting difficulty because the AMP goes down. You also have the deflationary effect from the fact that there's a burn function in Zen protocol, which allows for DeFi. Right? So you can burn Zen to get another token. So the game gets more and more interesting. So the green candles, assuming that this activity will remain the same or increase, will inevitably come, and there goes the green candles. And by then, they're going to be so big, so it's going to be very competitive. So that's the trade-off you're making if you want to focus on network effect and users over creating something with concentrated liquidity and a very short span of minting difficulty. Like, what's the point of just distributing a token to a few set of users and then that's it? Like, what are you going to do with it? You have to do something else to get adoption of that token. So you're just getting the short-term benefit of the green candle, but then what's the point? What's the point of going through this route with token after token? It's like it's not solving anything substantially. So it is like a trade-off you're making But that's also why it's so cool with our ecosystem, because it's sort of like an IQ test. Yes, Zen is going down forever, you know, but it's not. So at some point, it's going to turn, but you just don't know where when. You have the production cost of minting, so it's still above. So everyone's making money right now. Like everyone who's minted the max term is making money, which is kind of insane when it comes to a bear market. Like, how can you consistently in a whole network, in a whole community, create something profitable? It's quite an accomplishment, really. So that's number one. But theoretically, if the price goes below production cost, then people are going to buy it, because why would I mint when I can buy it? So there comes the buy pressure there, plus the added utility on top. Like, we're building like nuts. We've been building all summer. A lot of cool stuff. And the community, it's very cool to see, because you're seeing more and more sophisticated protocols coming up, like XENFi, like Zen.game, which is contributing a lot of insights when it comes to getting more users through attracting them with the native gas fees first, and then contributing to Zenburn with an immutable system in effect. That's very cool. It's very cool for engagement, and also the affiliate thing, something that I'm very curious to see how it works. It can be like a tool for adoption, and they're creating utility for the Apex, which is very cool. But my point is, we're getting more and more sophisticated protocols building, which ultimately is gonna force a Eversenian to think, okay, should I just stay with my Zen because I want to remain in cash? Like in every portfolio, in the normal world, you have maybe cash, gold, real estate, stocks, bonds, whatever. You can't have everything in one bucket unless you're like a super degen. There's going to be a variety, and there already is, of other protocols with other tokenomics that are not hyperinflationary like Zen is. Okay, CBZen. Where to buy base coin for minting? You're not. You just have to use ETH on Ethereum and then bridge it over. So you're using native. Their native coin is ETH. They don't have their own token. Do I have to bridge ETH or a base to mint? Greetings from Peru. Hello, Carolina. Never been to Peru. I'd love to go sometime. I've been to Brazil a lot. Absolutely love it. But yes, you have to bridge ETH to base. Just watch this stream earlier. I showed you how to do it. Base has a faucet for test ETH. Yes, I have the links in the Telegram. Yeah. Use Zenify for bridge. Yes, use. There was something wrong on my end, but it worked. I tried it a few times today. It worked flawlessly. Just because I wanted to show you, it didn't work for some reason. Let's see if it works now. Yeah. So zenify.io/swap. Mac. This is pretty cool. Select aggregator, and here you can see this will take 1 minute. This is 5 minutes. This is the cost, $22, $36. I haven't compared their cost compared to base, but I don't care. I'd rather use Zenify swap than base. Now it looks like it works. Let's see. beep, 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 beep. So let's see. There, awesome. Super simple. Zenify. Super cool name also. Would be funny to see what will happen if Coinbase launches ZBZen on their SEX instead of ETHZen. Yeah. It's like this ambivalent thing, like to be listed on centralized exchanges. We never have made any like encouragement or have paid anyone to be listed. The joke is in the bull run in 25-26, doing shortly after that, the cost potentially won't be worth it. Gas during a bull run is crazy, yes, and the yield curve in 2025 may not be worth it as well. Yes, anything can happen. Now I'm far behind, guys. Solana is EVM compatible. It's possible to launch on something like, yeah. We haven't done it yet. We haven't gone to any non EVM chain yet, but Solana is not using Solidity, they're using Rust, but they have, I forget what the name is now, but they have this possibility that you can deploy Solidity code on their chains as well. But we haven't used it, but we want to try it, and we want to go to Cardano as well. It would be very cool, because I think we could get a lot of attention if we go there as well, which would be great, because they are a huge ecosystem. We cannot claim ETH mints on Coinbase or Optimism ZK, assuming we go there. No, like if you mint on Ethereum, you have to claim it on Ethereum as well. How many push-ups? You haven't commented on my biceps, FFS. Look, guys, I failed miserably. I started my depth way too late. I was like a fat in Spain, like a fat whale on the beach. Look at the pictures, just this big hairy white Viking next to this like super slim tanned people. It's your guys' fault. I spent too much here instead of going to the gym. But I've changed my routines now. I feel amazing. I sleep well, eat well, I work out every day. So soon. But the push-ups are great. I can do a lot. FYI. CryptoBro, I think Base is a great chain to rattle because Coinbase is centered around the TradFi. Yes. Lots of users looking for a token like Zen versus Sol, where people are looking for JPEGs. Yes, exactly. That's exactly right. Like, if we get a lot of attention, if we become, let's push this chain hard. Like let's do it, because let's see how much attention we can get. Let's try to get more transactions than Friend.tech, which is taking up a lot of transactions on Base right now, and see the effect of how much eyes on us we can get. Because it's as you say, CryptoBro, there's a lot of people that don't know about us still and would love to interact with us. So if we can get a lot of eyes on us through Base, that would be great. I mean, for bad or worse, fact remains, it's the largest well-known centralized exchange, like fiat on-ramp and off-ramp. So it's not optimal. They are fighting against the SEC, but that's also sort of like, so that's a good thing, mostly. But at the same time, it's sort of like, you know, you don't fully want Brian to be representative of the whole crypto industry, because it's still like it's Coinbase. So it's sort of like sending SPF to Congress talking about transparency, in a way. So it is what it is. What are we doing about it? Are we isolating ourselves from it, or do we go there and say like, oh, hey, okay, yeah, you created a chain. Well, this is crypto and this is where we are at. So we're gonna come play. I'm working out every day too. When Zen June, yes, everything's out. Please quit before it's too late. Yeah, nicotine punch. I'm doing this Swedish innovation, snus. The railroad truckers, not the truckers, the railroad workers have this nicotine. It's called snus. You put under your lip, which is an addiction. But I've been doing everyone. I was the last one in my ice hockey team who did snus. But then I couldn't resist. It was a cool thing now to be a snoozer, but now it's not so much cool. But it's pretty nice. Yes, Coinbase is the only platform I know where you can fiat on-ramp in the US. So let's break it. Scandinavians put it on the top of the US bottom. Yeah. US, they done everything like reverse. Everything from Fahrenheit to snooze. Not snooze, snooze. Okay, snooze, not snooze. Good to see you guys. Good to see you. I hope you're having a great time. Tell me, what are you excited about? Your questions about it, but other stuff too, not relating to base. You work it out. Community is growing, guys. It's cool to see. We're getting a lot of questions about when 333 auctions, etc. Like we're targeting October. It's never a guarantee. We said a few months ago that September could be something, but it would be cool to launch them on Sen's birthday on the 8th of October. But the important thing for us, we're doing many things in parallel. The important thing for us, we get one shot at doing this. It needs to be done well. It needs to be good. We're not stalling it for any reason. We're working with it very hard. We're doing an auction style, which is where we also are intending to use pledging, which is very interesting from a game theoretical perspective. But we're working with many things continuously. So it needs to be the best. Like we only get one shot at doing this. And I know that people are like eager to start with it, and that's awesome. That's great. That makes us very happy. But we need to coordinate everything and make sure that everything fits in and works. So and also like to be real, like you're gonna burn for a token, but X1 is not gonna launch until next year. So it's just a token without a blockchain working. So it's just another token. It doesn't do anything by itself yet. So yeah. So we're doing simultaneously X1 tech. We're doing. There's like maybe 5% of what we talked about is like what you guys know, but we're doing a ton of research meanwhile as well on multiple other things. Some of them are super interesting. But X1 tech, the tokenomics, of course, horizontal scaling. We're doing bigger and bigger projects. So we need to, as soon as we have like an opportunity, we need to put in horizontal scaling as well. We haven't done it in a while, so it's incredibly nice to go to base right now, and more chains in the near future as well. So that's something that we're continuously going to continue with. We're working with the bridge with Libre, where we showcased a few weeks ago how you could transfer EVMPX to EVMPX on Libre, swap it to BVMPX, and then go to BVMPX on Bitcoin in a matter of seconds. So this was done with single sign, and the next step is to do it with multi-sig and MPC, and to make it trustless, it's going to take way longer, but we're doing that. Then GTP, which is also very cool and very much needed. We need to be able to compete with these solutions, and it's going to be awesome to have that kind of solution within our ecosystem. I see people are hungry and using it as well, so that's going to be super cool to see the creativity of Xenians that's playing with it. Tokenizer, which is also going to be awesome because it gives the community tools to be more self-sovereign and free in their creation, not being dependent. So that's also something that's super cool. And yeah, Jack has a new idea every day. So it's yeah, it's a lot of interesting stuff. But we're feeling good about it. Things are moving very fast, even though it might not always show. But we're very excited. And on top of that, we have all the ecosystem projects as well. Yeah. Coinbase has a bit license in New York City. It's the only ramp for New Yorkers. Yeah. This bit license is the guy who made it incredibly complex, and then he started working for a firm where he implemented it and he knew exactly how it worked or something like that. Would be great if Gwei on base exceeds Ethereum. Yeah. Let's check the Gwei guys. 3CDOS. Check out 3CDOS guys. He does amazing. I love the format of content he's doing. He's going everywhere in the Zen ecosystem. Great educational content. Base will be solid. Yes, I think we'll get a lot of eyes on us. Yeah, I hope so. It will be very cool. And check zencrypto.io. Made Stardust makes awesome articles about everything Zen. So looking forward to that. Since 2017, Coinbase is the only ramp where I can legally use in Brooklyn. That's mad. That is mad. That's super insane. They're launching DXN with Zen on base. How different will that be? Yeah, I saw some tweet about that just before we started going on stream. Super interesting. How different will that be? Not sure. There will be a lot more different than any other low-cost chains. Let's see. Zen birthday. Okay, I'm way behind. Sorry, guys. What do you think about projects on Pulse that burn PZen, like Zen Pepe? I haven't looked into Zen Pepe, but I love every project in the Zen ecosystem that does anything with Zen. We're always learning about every project. So I love it. Can you send ETH from Coinbase exchange to Base in MetaMask? Is the bridge the only option? I'm not sure because I don't have Coinbase myself. Yeah, maybe I do, but I haven't used it in years. So I'm not sure. Yeah, we talked about that. Okay. Will Zen XN be tradable once launches, or will XN be? Yeah, so that's a good question. From the the auctions, what's going to happen? It's going to be daily auctions, and you're competing for 1 million Zen per day. So we haven't exactly decided if it's going to be 3 days or 300 days, but there's 300 million allocated to the auctions. That's what's set in stone. And after the auction ends, you're directly going to get XN on whatever chain you're on. So the auctions are going to go on all the chains that we're on. So you're going to have XN on Ethereum, for instance, which once X1 launches is going to be redeemable one-to-one with XN on X1. So it's going to be that it's sort of like a very simplified, nice solution how we can bridge over, because the XN you then have on ETH, you're going to burn, and then XN is going to remint that XN for you on X1. Can you please sell all of your Zen when liquidity is slim at market? Yes. I hope the braid bit is strong. Bro, we can use Bitcoin ATMs now. We should have Zen ATMs. It's a pain in the ass, but it works. Also, if you have another passports besides the US, you can sign up for Binance. Mixologically. Yeah, there's like a passport you can get in some country. Jack remembers what it was. You can just get like another citizenship. I forget the name. I can find it out. So you can get that citizenship and then use that to sign up for centralized exchanges when you need it. Sent over the moon. Simple Waters, some music NFTs they wants to launch. Cool. I was thinking about a small Zenburn contract. Awesome. Awesome. Dobro. Too much work. It took like, yeah. But it took like 5 minutes to get the citizenship or some crazy stuff like that. Just get like a virtual ID card somehow. It took him like less than 30 minutes. Yeah. It's like if you want to have a sneak solution now, that's something you can do, but it's not sustainable, of course. Awesome, guys. Awesome. So let's do are Arbitrum and Optimism out of the picture for Zen launch? No, we want to go there, and we want to go there relatively soon. And the reason why we're going to base right now is timing and hype and publicity, basically. So that's why we wanted to go there. But once we now go to base and see how that is, we should be able to easily go to Optimism and Arbitrum very closely as well. Zenify is Zoo. I'll try it out. Will we one day be able to use ZenGPT? Like, yes, but decentralized and perhaps burn bits of Zen to use it. Yeah, we've been playing with those ideas. So it would be very cool. Jack is like inventing new sciences with this. He's like super nerdy about this stuff, and very cool to see what he comes out with. Like really nerding into this stuff. Like, can you see this? Yeah. this is what he. Oh, sorry. Here we go. He's come up with a visual language that trains AI large language models. This is how it looks. So he's having fun, but the main thing with all these AI models is, you know, that there's one thing with having the tech for the AI, but it's also who is in the reins of controlling them. There's a lot of risks with AI, but you don't want the added risk of having like a centralized entity controlling it. So what's interesting when you have corporations who are producing these AI models, they are sort of restricted in the inputs they can use to train their AI models. For instance, if Microsoft wanted to train their AI models with YouTube content, they would be sued by Google. I think there's something there which is incredibly interesting when it comes to the fact that you can distribute XEN UTP on a super decentralized network. So you also can censor it, which would be very cool. And if we have a service like that, it could be very cool. Like you could just charge like 1 cent or whatever, you know, to be able to use it, or 1 cent per input or something like that. That should be like more or less relatively easy to do. It sort of becomes like a paywall, but it would be very cool for XEN's adoption. XEN on CKey Zinc eventually, yeah. I think like if L2 scaling becomes a hit within the community, it would be very interesting to. I personally know way too little of CKey Zinc. It's something I have to read up about, but maybe you guys know more. But they are, if I'm not mistaken, let's go to L2 Beat. They are the next in line would be. Would there be an XN and XN XEN chart on TradingView? So we haven't discussed if we're going to deploy XEN on X1 or not. We have a bunch of time to discuss the in and outs and pros and cons of that, because X1 won't be live until next year. So, well, if it does happen, it should be. Arbitrum to base is another option if you don't want to pay a high gas fee. Good. Since you're speaking, yes, Jekshinej. I just found out the biggest scam of history. Borat, he's not talking Kazakhstan. He's talking Polish. My friend told me. Is that true, maybe? Sorry. Jekshinej. Dziękuję. Is that Polish? I'm not sure. Can I implement XEN with his image check company? Yes, he's been thinking about that too. There's more of a hopian statement, but I think I heard him say that. Yes, I hope he does. It would be very cool. Image check is an image service that Jack created, which is, and also some other guys in the team, which is still one of the most trafficked sites in the world, like top 200. Super cool. So scaling is something that Jack knows very well. Deploy Nex on X1 instead of XEN. Yes, that's also interesting, perhaps. I mean, like the whole point of Nex was this: we deployed XEN. We only talked about XEN. Price started trading very high. Naturally, the price has been trending down, but all we could hear in the file storm that I missed the old Mexicans fighting us every day. I kind of miss it sometimes. It's kind of nice. It's kind of fun. But the main objective of talking about NEX and creating NEX was just to demonstrate that, yes, we have Zen, which is highly inflationary, ridiculously inflationary initially, but on top of it, we can build DeFi, ZenFi, where we create a token with limited supply and another distribution schedule. That's basically it. That's NEX. It's just a token distribution and daily auctions for it. And then DBZen said, hey, we're going to do it. We're going to modify it. We're going to do it this way. They introduced protocol fee, but it's basically it. Yeah, there would have to be like a reason why but with Tokenizer, you can create NEX basically, apart from the fact that we're going to give utility for the Apex as well, which we never did, but we're going to do it with X1 instead because we allocated 100 million for that. Now with Tokenizer, you are going to be able to do that, which is incredibly interesting because it's going to allow you to choose the amount of supply and in what circumstance, how much of that supply is going to be distributed daily and for how long. It's basically it, which is very cool and very interesting. You might have a product or service that works right now, but you need a token. Tokenizer is perfect for that. Like, I just want a token, I want to distribute it fairly, and I want to distribute it to the Zen community or some other community. As a tool, like when we're creating stuff, it's not so much as to try to create as complex stuff as possible. It's try to find what is the MVP, what is the smallest denominator of what we're trying to do. And basically it's everything is creation, distribution, and trading. So creation, how can we simplify creation as much as possible that will satisfy 95% of all use cases? Well, you do these inputs. And how can we optimize distribution as fairly and as efficient as possible to as large amount of people as possible? Well, you can do that with Tokenizer as well. So it's just like a tool for creation and distribution very efficiently. But so you can, like you can with BRC20s, you can create a BRC20 with a few clicks of a button, a few inputs, right? But then it's all about to create, to put it in a context and to solve a problem. Like Zen solves a problem. X1 will solve a problem. BLPX solves a problem. So when we're removing the barriers for you to create something and distribute, those are no longer barriers. That's fine. The barrier is still going to be what's the not the utility. It's more like people focus on utility, but it's better to focus on in entrepreneurship. We talk about fall in love with the problem, like find a problem that you really want to solve, and perhaps Tokenizer can be a tool for that because the barriers to create and distribute the token is minimized. Yeah. So. Or is it that different? What AI systems hardware they're going to use? Because RunPoint runs out their graphics cards. Yes, but they don't have a decentralized network. You don't behold my catalog. You don't decide if Zen is an X1. I'm the only one who's thinking, what the fuck? Yes. We get bigger targets now. I'm talking about so many things back and forth. Yeah, the next conversion started before DBZ. Yeah, we presented it to the community. They also said that they had similar concepts. Rasmus showed me a concept that they have, so I can also verify it. But what's cool with Zen, it doesn't really matter who does stuff. It's like, at the end of the day, it's just immutable code that counts. Like, what systems are out there that you can interact with that you don't have to trust anyone to do so with. So whoever makes it, that's why we are, as soon as we have an idea, we want to present it. So if we do it or someone else, it doesn't really matter to us at all. As long as if it's a cool idea, it's being done. It's like liquidity NFTs. So the problem that we thought was interesting there is if you could create buy pressure with using NFTs, because you could create leverage the limit order, but it's not really a top priority for us to demonstrate that. But it's still an interesting concept that someone could take and make. It's still something we could do in the future. But we also have to be careful sometimes because we're talking about a lot of stuff and people are upset that we are talking too much. Are we baking Base Virginity tomorrow? We are, sir, my dear sirs and sir-ettes. We are going to see what Brian is all about. Is he all talk, or can he deliver something on his chain? Let's test it out. Let's see what happens. I can't seem to burn or create supply after creating token. I saw you do it for your coin. Please explain a little bit more what you mean. Yeah, not decentralized, referring to Zen GTP. When tokenizer, it's being built right now. We were almost ready to launch it, and then we found a twist, which made it very much more interesting. I'm going to make a stream about it for sure, to break it down and talk about the text, tutorialize, and also philosophy. Yeah. So let's do a small recap of Base. But yeah, I wanted to bring some perspective as we're going into Base, how it relates to and why it's interesting to go there as an experiment, if nothing else, since it's an L2 and they're using L1, L2 gas fees, and yeah, it's a scale if we have Zen there. I mean, like in DeFi, my DeFi friends in blockchain technology, many of them are like hardcore degens, are crazy about Arbitrum and optimism. It's just so very well connected to Ethereum, and it's a lot cheaper. We can see this in the charts as well. So something's going on there, which is interesting. For sure. God damn it, it's hot here. I missed the Swedish winter. Yeah, small recap, guys. Thanks you, bro. Appreciate it. Yeah, like definitely for X1, Should definitely have like faucet. It's just like easy to use. So much frustration just getting stuff. Tell Jack to bring it easy. Yeah, I'm in Spain right now. Yo como manzanas. That's how it's called. I'm eating apples. That's all I can say in Spanish. Spain is great. Spanish people are amazing. Super nice. The weather is great. It's insane. So good. So guys, yes, recap. We are deploying XEN and XENFTs on base tomorrow. We have ZB XEN as well. ZB XEN. And then ZB XEN and ZB XENs for XEN Stake. Watch these videos on my YouTube channel if you want to get familiarized with NFTs. Now it works. The same rules apply as for Ethereum when it comes to VMU limits and burn values. Yeah, that's basically it. Let's mint also a collector. So yeah, let me show you this also because it can be a bit confusing. When you like it can be a bit confusing at first to separate between girly and base girly. So make sure you go to base girly and switch it up. We already have global rank on testnet on 60,000. Incredible, incredible. And as you know, it's easy to forget because it was a while ago we deployed XEN. Look at the white paper. The first mints, the first. Jesus, I don't even remember now. I need to read the white paper again. The light paper. The first is 5,000 or 10,000. It's 5,000 or 10,000, something like that. The max term are a bit lower. But look at the EAA, guys. The EAA is sweet and it's juicy, and the APY as well. Just have that in mind. But it's going to be pushed up like super fast. So you're going to be, and the turn days is also rapidly increasing with the disinflationary curve. So pretty soon you're going to be able to mint over 300 days. We go mint NFT. And to do this, you just need Ethereum that you have bridged over using Coinbase's, Base's bridge, but preferably Zenify. Yes, we do collector, max VMU at max term days, bam, confirm it. And yeah, it's pretty fast. It's pretty fast. I have wheat for blood. I don't know what that means, but I want some. Go, doctor. Do you know something about gas heaters? No. I'm horny for CDs and EAA. Yes. Yes, Rolando. Need medication to come down. Yes, I think that's it, guys. I think this comment settles this stream. Thanks for tuning in, and I love you all. And happy minting. And let's go crush it on base. Let's show Brian who we are. And over and out. 10-2, Descenzu, rock out. With your little Johnny out. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. Thank you very much. Go Deutschland. Good to see you guys. Thanks for the support. Let's go.